Hey guys, Barrels Hall here today. We're going to go over magazine changes with a pistol. To start off, make sure you have somewhat of a good rig. If you're just doing your normal changes, you can still use these, but your draw on your mags is going to be a little bit different. Mine's set up for competition, so my mags are going to be orientated with the round facing towards my gun. That way when you grab down on it, your index finger is going to be touching where your bullet would be. Gun obviously clear. So when you practice this, practice it smooth, practice it in segments, and I'm going to go over that. A lot of these videos of people showing you how to do stuff, they're all, oh, look how fast I can go, and that doesn't help anybody. So I'm going to show you some basic principles that can help you practice and to get fast without ever really firing. You can do this in your house. Just make sure your gun's clean. You don't ever actually need to pull the trigger. Obviously dry fire helps, but when you're changing, you can practice these small steps and then get a couple more steps, and eventually you'll get it where you need it. So for this, we'll start out of the holster, just clean draw. Right now, this is my competition gun. I've got my normal grip down there. I'll show you this later. That's just going to make it a little easier, but the concept is all the same. You practice on this, you're always going to get it into this. So start off, you're going to have a good grip, you're going to be aimed in, and you know, when you fire your last round, that's when you're going to have your mag change is going to be necessary. So whether you do it competition wise, normally you're not going to let it run dry. So even when I do let it run dry, the way that I hold my hand, I usually end up holding the the slide release down. So I usually don't, the slide never stays back for me, depending on how you run your setups. For me, that's just how it goes, and I, count rounds, and you expect it to change off. I do mostly a release from here rather than doing a mag release or a slide release. So to me, it doesn't really change much whether I just rack it or if I rack it. So just keep that in mind for what I'm trying to go with. So if you're down here and out, pointed out, the first step you're going to do is you're going to break this grip. So you're going to open up, and what you want to do is you want to start rotating it. Don't do kind of a this way, and don't do an upwards. Do kind of a nice 45-ish turn. That way you can keep looking at your target. See, I'm still looking at you, but you want to bring this in. As you do that, this gun does not have an extended release. This one does. So on this gun, I actually have to break my grip slightly to push the mag release. That's why I like the extended mag release. On my other gun, I don't have to break the grip. I just press in there. That saves time. It makes it so I don't have to rearrange my grip when I come back in, but it doesn't matter. You can do it either way. So when I come in, I'm going to slowly rotate it. I keep the pressure on this and use that to actually turn that gun in my hand. So I still keep a pretty firm grip, and all the pressure is there. So this is firm. It's still not moving. It's still a good grip. It's just I can't shoot from there. And then when I rotate it back, I'm going to release that, squeeze my fingers back in, and it'll come back up. So as you come in, this hand just broke free. This hand's going to be on its way down, but focus on this hand for now. We're going to come in. We're going to drop the mag just a little bit. You don't need much. Keep that angle down. If you go too much this way, your mag isn't going to fall out. If you go straight down, you're going to have a hard time pressing that button just because of the way the grip works. So rotate it in. That's going to give you your strongest thumb, your best angle. The other thing that does is it keeps your gun up in front of your face, so you're still in line with the targets. You start pulling this stuff, all of a sudden you have no idea what's in front of you. Whether you're law enforcement or competition, it's never a good idea to lose sight of what you're trying to aim in at. So keep it up, and you are going to break your eyes. I've seen people say keep your eyes on the target at all times. It really slows you down, because when you draw out, you really want to make sure that you look and index in. If you don't look at this, you're going to miss it. Anybody who drives a motorcycle knows you go where your eyes are looking. If you're not turning, you're not going to make your turn. If you're not looking at this, you're gonna miss. If you're looking up above it, you tend to go up. You tend to miss the side, or you tend to jab in. It doesn't take hardly any time for your eyes to move compared to an arm or a limb or anything else. I can tell you right now, you miss, it's gonna take a lot more time than it took to make your eyes go down and back up. So as you come in, it's a look, you're gonna start to ride it. Your index finger should be way up on there. It's gonna press in, and you're gonna use that to start breaking in. When I hold this mag, when I go for my grab, I try to get it right on the base of my palm. And then, as you can see, you index the whole thing. What that does is it gives it a little notch there. If you go down too far here, you're slipping. If you're up too far here, your finger's not gonna index correctly, and your mag is kind of all sloppy here. If you go here, it's just like a piece of your hand. As you come in with that, you're looking. When you look, you line it up correctly. Feel it in. You're not going to jam your finger in there, you're fine. And then what you do is, from here, I like to bend and snap my wrist in. Because the thing you've got to realize is this is unloaded. It slides in like that. When this is fully loaded, you've got to jam it in. And by keeping it indexed on that point on your hand and lined up correctly, when you go in, you just snap your wrist. And that's going to lead us into the next thing that I want to talk about. So when you're up here, your gun's in the right position, you've indexed your mag correctly, you get in, you want your hand to get back to that grip as fast as possible. If you slap and then grab, you can do that, but it's going to be a little bit slower. What I like to do is ride it in, and then as you can see, my hand's ready to turn right here. So as I go, I'm sliding it up, turning my gun out, and ready to shoot again. So you're out, drop your mag, you've got this hand grabbing this, index it in, look, make sure you look, and over. So that's the basic breakdown steps. Now, the way to practice this is not to go sliding through here, throwing mags, and doing all this stuff. What you want to do is do a piece at a time so you can get each moment correct. So what I like to do is keep your gun out of the holster. You don't really need a mag in there. Make sure you're hitting that button enough to release it, know what it feels like. Because if you go, oh, I'm hitting the button, I just hit it, and it doesn't drop, that doesn't help you. Know how much it takes pressure-wise to get that out. And from there, start with it in your hand if you need to. Get lined up, get that all correct where you want it. Index it, make sure you get used to keeping this right where you want it in your face. You don't want it too far up, you don't want it too far forward. A nice line, you can see the mag well, look at it, index it in, reach over, and then restart if you need. Getting that, when you release, if you can release it in your hand and get that same exact moment, your gun's lined up how you would normally release it, that's the same as dropping a mag. And just keep trying that. Go back and forth. Go back and forth. And then start lining up more. Maybe at this point you want to dry fire. So you do a click, empty, turn over, release, in and forward. And keep working that, keep working that. And then as you go on, do a little bit at a time. Learn to get your mag, turned correctly. Drop it, then get to your next one. And as you keep working that, just do a step at a time. Make sure you don't, as you go to the next step, now I want to start pulling out of here and dropping one. Make sure you remember to do all the steps. And just keep it the same throughout. Keep it consistent. Do 2 steps. Oh, now you started messing up your first step. Go back, practice that a little bit. And work it through that way. That's the only way you're really going to learn. All these people are like, oh, just get a good grip and, do all this fast stuff. It's not going to help you any. So do it step by step. The other thing you want to look through is getting good gear. For me, I've got an ELS system, so I can set it up kind of however I want. This is the Safariland single mag pouch for the double stack. And I've had some other pouches, and these let you index really well. So when you grab, whether it's this one, or this one, you can index all the way down. It gives you that nice cut face, so you can get that deep index on there. See how my hand still fully wraps around there? They also turn a little bit back, so as you reach, if your angle is too far forward, it puts your elbow at a weird angle, it's not fast. Keep your arm tucked in, through, and through. So all of this, you're gonna want it to be snappier angles as basically you continue to go. So when you're up, don't just, you're not up, forward, up, one at one moment, forward, and make sure that's locked in. When you turn, do a snap. If you're doing this stuff, your snap is where you get your good angle. You know what it's gonna feel like. You know where that position is. And as you practice that, you'll get better and better. As you grab, make sure you get used to your grab. Everything, just start snapping it as you go faster. So be a snap, snap. And that's how you want it to be. I could try to show you real fast, but there's no point in that. That's not where everyone's gonna be. So work on the steps, work yourself through, and you'll get to that point. That's what I got for today.